Okay, let's dive right in. Every single software team runs into the same wall. Building a great product, that's one thing, but documenting it so people can actually use it, that's a whole other beast. Today we're talking about an engineering solution to that exact problem, Docusaurus.
And let's be clear, the stakes are incredibly high. This quote from Semaphore CI, man, it just hits the nail on the head. You can have the most brilliant piece of software in the world, but if the docs are bad, it might as well not exist. It can literally kill your project's adoption.
So when we talk about the documentation problem, what are we really talking about? Well, for an engineering team, it's the fact that building a modern, functional, good-looking documentation website, it's a massive distraction. It's basically a whole separate software project you didn't sign up for. And just look at this list. This is what happens when you say, hey, let's just build it ourselves with a generic tool like Next.js. Suddenly, you're on the hook for all of this. You've got to figure out versioning for your software releases. You have to think about internationalization for a global audience, SEO, accessibility. It's a huge list of complex engineering tasks that pull you away from what you're supposed to be doing, writing the actual content. This is exactly where Docusaurus steps in. It was born at Meta from engineers who got tired of solving these same problems over and over again for different projects. So they built a specialized tool, one designed specifically to handle all that heavy lifting for you.
So here's the key thing to understand. Docusaurus is what's called a static site generator, or SSG. It's built using React, and its entire reason for being is to make creating and maintaining docs not just easy, but actually, dare I say, a delightful experience for developers.
And you see the payoff immediately. The second you spin up a new Docusaurus project, you get all this stuff right out of the box. An automatically generated navigation sidebar from your file structure, a powerful search bar that's ready to be plugged into Algolia, a light and dark mode toggle, a blog. I mean, these are features that would take you days, maybe weeks to build from scratch. And here, they just work.
All right, so let's pop the hood for a second and see how this all works. Because Docusaurus does something really clever. It gives you the performance of a static site with the rich interactivity of a modern web app, the best of both worlds.
First and foremost, it's a static site generator. That means when you build your site, it spits out a folder full of plain old HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. For your end user, this means one thing: speed, pure blazing speed. The pages load instantly because they're already built.
But here's the thing, static does not mean boring. And this is the magic ingredient right here, MDX. It lets you write all your content in simple Markdown, which is super easy. But then, and this is the game changer, you can drop fully interactive React components right into the middle of your page. You need a live code editor, an interactive chart, a complex form, you just import it and use it like any other tag.
So the whole process is really elegant. Step 1, you just write your content in these MDX files. Step 2, the build process crunches it all down into that super fast static site. And then step 3, when a user loads a page, it shows up instantly. And then it quietly hydrates in the background into a full React single-page app. You get that initial lightning-fast load, and then you get the smooth, dynamic, app-like experience.
Okay, now let's talk about the real heavy hitters. The features that save engineering teams from absolute nightmares. The stuff that is genuinely hard and time-consuming to build and maintain yourself. Seriously, think about it for your own projects. What are the features that would make you take a deep breath and say, okay, this is going to be a multi-week effort for sure?
For documentation websites, these two are always at the top of the list. Document versioning, so you can match your docs to your software releases, and internationalization, or I-18, for translating your site. These are not just features, they're huge, complex systems.
Docusaurus makes versioning almost trivial. You're about to release version 2.0 of your product. You run a single command, it freezes the current state of your docs as version 1.0 and creates a new copy for you to work on. Now users can easily switch between documentation for version 1.0, 2.0, or whatever they're using. It's absolutely critical, and it's built right in.
And it's the same story for internationalization. This is another beast of a problem. Docusaurus provides the whole workflow. It sets up the file structure, it helps you manage translation files, and it handles all the routing and language switching logic. It turns the daunting task of reaching a global audience into a manageable, structured process.
Okay, so with all this great stuff, it sounds perfect, right? Well, is Docusaurus always the right choice? Not necessarily. And it really comes down to a core trade-off that every engineering team needs to think about. Let's look at this comparison with Nextra, which is a great tool built on Next.js. The key difference is right there in the first row, primary focus. Docusaurus is laser-focused on documentation. Because of that focus, you get critical features like versioning and search built in. Nextra is more of a general-purpose toolkit. It's incredibly flexible, you can build almost anything with it, but that flexibility comes at a cost. You're the one who has to set up all those complex features yourself.
And that really brings us to the final and most important point, the whole reason a specialized tool like Docusaurus even exists.
It all boils down to this simple idea. Stop building infrastructure and start writing your content. Docusaurus is an answer to the massive opportunity cost of documentation. Every hour your engineers spend wrestling with a custom website build is an hour they are not spending improving your core product or writing the amazing documentation your users desperately need. This tool lets you reclaim that time. So I'll just leave you with this question to ask your team. For your next project, what do you really need? Do you need a generic toolkit that offers infinite flexibility but requires a significant engineering investment to build out the features you need? Or do you need a finished tool that solves 95% of the documentation problem on day one so you can immediately reinvest that engineering time back into your actual product? The answer you come up with doesn't just reveal a technical preference, it reveals your entire product strategy.